So in this um, lecture, what I've done for you is created some sample claims to continue with my Green Man material that I've been using for the other lectures. I've pulled three types of claims that I thought would work best for humanities type assignment of this sort. So you'll want to look at the types of claim lecture. It's a longer document, and look specifically at definition claim, evaluation claims, and the comparison claim. The other claims we'll look at throughout the semester, so you're welcome to read all that information now, but for this assignment we're just going to look at these three. So what I've done is given you an example of a claim for a definition type paper where I'm defining terms throughout my argument, and I've given you two topic sentences for my subclaims. Then I've gone through and provided an evaluation claim, again with two subclaims. And for the comparison, this is rather a longer uh, outline for you because you do something very specific in a comparison, and hopefully you remember this from English 111. But let's look at the definition claim first. So it's not, well, in the humanities maybe more so than in some other courses, but you're not always asked to write an essay that's totally definitional. Usually you're being asked to define some terms in your arguments, terms that are being used a specific way, or something that's questionable, or something that's being argued about, the definition of a word. But in this case, in the arts, you sometimes do have an entirely, especially like in philosophy, right? You'll have a entire essay just based on a definition. So I kept that one in there because I thought it might work. Remember, I'm writing about Green Man, a mythological figure. So my definition claim is looking at functions. Remember, I did that earlier. So the Green Man is a figure often seen in church carvings whose functions include assurance of the return of spring and of continued fertility. So my definition is a one based on functions, and I've provided two functions. So in my essay, I would probably only have two paragraphs, one paragraph per function. Or if I had a lot to say, maybe I'd have three paragraphs on one function and four on another. It just depends. But the point is I have two sub-claims here. In medieval England, the winters were bitterly cold and people needed to be assured that warmer weather would return. That'd be my first topic sentence, and now I would find support from the images I have, whatever it is I'm working with, and add that to that section of the paper. Because of poor conditions in the Middle Ages, including cold winters, right? That's sort of my transition from the weather, the winter weather topic to my new topic. Fertility was not guaranteed for either animals or people. So now you know I've changed gears, and all of my support in this section of the paper, be it one paragraph or 4 or 10, will be about the Green Man in terms of its fertility function. So this is a definition claim, right? An evaluation claim is one you do quite frequently in literature courses, art courses, film courses. For example, if I wanted to argue about Star Wars, maybe I'm doing some sort of genre paper and I'm trying to argue that Star Wars is actually falls into the genre of fantasy rather than the genre of science fiction. That would be an example of evaluation. So I would have to explain what fantasy is, what the criteria are for fantasy, and then explain one characteristic after the other, one criteria after the other, in what way Star Wars fits that criteria. Well, I've done the same thing here with the Green Man. My claim had to be two sentences this time because it wouldn't all fit in one. There are a number of films that feature characters that could possibly be interpreted as green men figures. For example, The Odd Life of Timothy Green. In order for a character to be considered a true green man, he must have several identifying features. So as a reader, you're going to expect then to see several paragraphs or several sections of the paper, each one concentrating on one of those identifying features. Let's see if I've done that in my sample here. The first characteristic of a green man is the obvious. He must have plant life appear on his body. In the rest of this section, I'll be talking about how the character in The Odd Life of Timothy Green meets or does not meet this characteristic of a green man. To be a true green man, a character must also, there's that nice transition, have a relationship to spring or rebirth, either literally or symbolically. Then I would have to spend time explaining how the character in The Odd Life of Timothy Green does or does not meet that evaluation criteria. All right, so this is a very common sort of claim to make in the arts. And again, for all three of these, the definition, evaluation, and the final one here, the comparison, please review that information in that lecture, Types of Claims, where there's more information on each of these types and, again, more examples. Finally, I'm going to do a comparison of the types of disgorging green man. Remember that from my sample pages with the writing assignment 1. There are 3 examples of disgorging green men in England that share only a few characteristics, indicating the wide variety of depictions of this mythological figure. So you know you're going to have 3 examples of disgorging green men that I found. One is in the Church of the Holy Ghost in Somerset, one is in Winchester Cathedral, and one is an illustration in a book called The Cobbler's Prophecy. All right. I've organized my comparison by traits. So there's trait 1, there's trait 2, there's trait 3. All right. Let's say that this was just 3 paragraphs. Maybe it's a very short essay. In this paragraph, I would talk about all 3 of my examples and whether or not those examples of the green men have a full body. In this paragraph, I'm looking about the feature that instead of having leaves, the disgorging material from their mouths is like maybe some kind of abstract scroll work. I'm going to look at all 3 examples of the green man and explain how they have or do not have these scrolling organic shapes. And finally, we're looking at the traditional leaves and vines wreathing the heads of the green man, which is, again, these are all carvings and illustrations that I'm looking at. And I'm going to look at all 3 examples. So this is one paragraph, this is one paragraph, this is one paragraph. Okay? So I hope this is enough to get you started for this assignment. If you have any questions, please let me know and I'll see if I can come up with some more materials for you. But look at this in conjunction with the types of claim lecture. This is not meant to stand alone. This is just meant to give you examples of some things that you can do with your own arguments. But this is not enough information for you. You'll need to look at the types of claim lecture as well.